It's hard to believe that it's 25 years since I first came here. And though the world's changed in that time, of all the places I visited, I don't think anywhere's changed quite as much as Istanbul. I realise describing Istanbul as a city where East meets West is one of the biggest cliches in the book. But when I came here for the first time in 1986, I definitely had the impression that the emphasis was on the East. Nowadays, Istanbul very much has its sights set on the West. For the past 22 years, Turkey has been trying to make it into the European Union. It's an ongoing and uncertain process, but in 2006, Istanbul was chosen to be the 40th European capital of culture. Culture is not something they're short of here, unsurprising in a 2,000-year-old city that's been the capital of two empires. Which begs the question, why does Istanbul need all the hassle and huge spend of hosting European capital of culture?
To be honest, Istanbul doesn't need actually to be the capital of culture, because Istanbul, for the last 5,000 years old, is always the capital of different cultures.
Ozgul Yavuz from Istanbul 2010 has volunteered to show me around the Kartal Cultural Centre, one of the city's local exhibition spaces on the Asian shore. Ozgul, in what ways do you hope people's attitudes towards Istanbul will change, or their thoughts will change as a result of this?
Istanbul is receiving lots of international tourists. By the end of 2007, for example, it was the third most visited city in Europe after London and Paris. But of course, the general image is more historical heritage city. The image is an old capital city. But when they see this richness of this cultural and artistic activities, they will feel that the Istanbul has a young, creative energy in terms of art, especially.
The city's architectural heritage is at the heart of Capital of Culture Year. The Ataturk Cultural Centre, where the city's symphony and ballet are based, is undergoing major reconstruction. And the scaffolding obscuring the city's mosques, good news for visitors, is all gone. Even more exciting is what's happening inside Istanbul's most famous monument, the Hagia Sophia. When Justinian, the emperor that built this, saw it for the first time, his words apparently were, "Solomon, I have outdone thee." And when I saw it for the first time in '86, I knew exactly what he meant. Breathtaking. But for the last 17 years, the full impact of Justinian's great dome has been blunted by a huge tower of scaffolding. Well, come March, that will have gone. I think it's worth coming to Istanbul just to see it as it was intended. Personally, I can't wait. This used to be a dry cargo warehouse, and in 2004 it opened as Turkey's first museum of contemporary art. It's called Istanbul Modern.
In 2010 will be a very exciting year for Istanbul Modern, and we're going to start the year off with, again, a dynamic exhibition on new media. And it's going to involve lots of artists from all around the world, actually, young, old people who have been in the field for a long time with young upcoming artists. Following that exciting year, we're going to have an exhibition on modernity and tradition, because as Istanbul Modern, as we are the first museum of modern art and contemporary art in Turkey, we would like to do an exhibition that brings together both classical Turkish art as well as contemporary Turkish art. And following that, we're going to do a major retrospective exhibition on a contemporary Turkish artist.
Visitors to Istanbul in 2010 will not only get an opportunity to immerse themselves in this city's past, they'll also get a chance to see what a hip place it is. Sometimes you have to remind yourself that there's more to Istanbul than museums and mosques. In the last 20 years, over 50 shopping malls have opened. 21st century Istanbulis have moved away from the bazaar, and the city's nightlife has definitely taken a step beyond the traditional cafe. I can't pretend to be objective about this place. I love Istanbul. It's one of the most magical cities in the world. And without wanting to offend, I think it's going to be the most exciting capital of culture for a long time. Well worth a visit.